Hi, I'm Dory Doyle, and I am a silver leader with Young Living. And I wanted to talk a little bit about having families and kids and trying to work this business because it is not easy. So, most of us started with Young Living because we wanted to use the oils with our families and possibly even our kids. And then those of us that wanted to tackle the business, we did so because we wanted to provide for our family and our kids. But when we get stuck, what's usually our number one excuse? Well, it's the reason why we started the business. It's our family and our kids. And I'm totally guilty of this too. So I'm a mom of 2.5-year-old twins, Audrey and David, and I've been with Young Living since they were about 10 months old. And when I started, they slept multiple times a day and they went to bed early, and I could work with them in my arms. I could answer emails while they're playing. I could send messages to my team all many times during the day. And then they became walkers and that changed. And so those of us who have toddlers know the rest of the story. Naps are less consistent, and we, as parents, are really exhausted. And so that time that was spent working on projects, hobbies, whatever, business, is much harder to do now. So our kids become our excuse not to do things. And sometimes that's really convenient when maybe you don't want to go somewhere or you want to leave early from someplace else. Oh, we have to get our kids to bed, so we have to go, and you have your big smile and then you leave. So great using them as an excuse at that point. But when it comes to our business, our kids should not be our excuse. They should be our why. So really think again as to why you want to turn this into a successful business. Chances are that you probably want flexible hours built around your kids' schedule. You want an income to help provide for them. And by reminding yourself about those things and that your kids are not your excuse, but they're actually your why, then that really turns around the way that you look at your kids. So do this business for your children. So set an example of hard work for them. Wow, look at what mommy is able to accomplish. And yes, it is hard work, but so many people in our generation, and unfortunately it's going to be passed down to our kids also, they see instant success and they want to be just like that. And really, very rarely is there success without hard work going into it. We just don't see that hard work that comes into making that success. So, yes, to do this business and to do it and make it work with kids, it takes organization, it takes hard work, it takes strong goals, it takes boundaries. So, how do I make it work? So I'm going to say I am not perfect at this at all. I have gone through some major life changes in the last 4-6 months. My kids have started preschool, we bought a house, we sold a house, and everything that goes into all of that. And I feel like my head is spinning a little bit. But when I actually sit down and really work this business, this is how I make it work. So, and also what I'm going to be saying is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Do what works best for you, but this is what I have done and what I have seen successful. I look at my priorities as a bullseye, and I wish I had a chart that I could show you this. But the inner circle there is my relationship with my husband. And without that strong foundation of marriage, everything else breaks down. I mean, everything else breaks down. The way that I interact with my kids, the way that I interact with others, none of that matters. If my foundation, my bullseye, my husband and my relationship, if that's not strong. And so the next circle out is going to represent my kids and making sure they have had their basic needs met, food, clothing, shelter, happiness, that's all there. But also knowing that happiness doesn't mean getting whatever they want. There are boundaries, and I was raised with the phrase, a healthy dose of disappointment never hurt anyone, and we do the same thing with our kids. But yes, making sure their basic needs are met is always there, but my kids are second to the relationship with my husband. So the next circle out from that is going to be my business. That's my next priority. So again, husband, kids come first, and then comes the business. But the business is still right up there in importance. And then as you get into the exterior circles, you're going to have hobbies, travel, entertainment, etc. All of the other things that fuel your soul. So does that mean that I can't do anything with my business because it's the third priority? Well, no. I do monthly dinners with my team. I teach classes online, in person. I love the in-person ones. And I have to be okay with my husband putting my kids to bed some nights. It's not always mommy that's there doing it. Because honestly, that's when I can work, and that's when it works with a lot of other people's schedules. So how does it work on a day-to-day basis? So I'm not going to lie, it's hard. It is hard work. My kids currently fight the moment that I get on the phone, the moment I pull out my phone. If I have my computer anywhere near me, they either want to get on the computer or they fight about the computer. So I have to keep my family time completely separate from my work time. And when I was starting out with my Young Living business, I would have so many nights in my computer, in my lap, while I was in bed. My husband was trying to go to sleep and I would be typing away. And because I was working during my time with my husband, I never got quality time with my husband. And my partnership and my sleep, because I was working so late into the night, it all suffered. And honestly, I wasn't working well either. I was working a lot, but the quality was not there. The quantity was, quality was not. So now what I'm doing is I'm much more strict with my time. If I get a message during the day and I can answer it quickly, then I will. But usually what I'll do is I'll wait to respond to that message, and I'll let them, or if I can, I'll let them know, hey, I'm with my kids right now. I'll let you know the answer to that late tonight when I put them to bed or during nap time. But usually I try not to have my phone in my hands during the day, or my computer near me, just because I don't want to be tempted to do that, because I'm just as tempted by a screen as my kids are. And so I wait until I'm not on duty with my kids. So if I have business builders, though, or certain members that I communicate regularly with, I would recommend checking out the app called Voxer, Voxer. It is a phone app on all platforms, and it's like a walkie-talkie. So it allows you to do voice memos instead of texts, and I love it because what it allows me to do is talk faster, so I'm not sitting here typing away, which I'm a very slow typer. I usually do voice to text anyway, and so I like Voxer because people can actually hear the tone of my voice. It's really quick. I press the button and I can just start talking, and then I release it and it's sent. So check it out. If you have any questions about Voxer, let me know. It's totally free. There are some ways that you can upgrade, but I don't think there's really any need. So all of my business builders and some of my team members know if they need to get me right away, Vox me, because I will respond a lot faster doing it that way. And sometimes my kids will talk to them too, because my kids know how to work the Voxer app. Otherwise, I'm not going to respond to texts or messages probably for a couple of hours. Now, I am one of those people that if I see something, like if I see a text and I forget about it, I'm not going to be responding. So when I see a text, I will put a reminder in, like I have the Reminders app. I use iPhones. So I have the Reminders app, and that's where I keep my whole to-do list. And so I'll just write a quick respond to Sally, or whoever it is that I need to respond to, just so I remember I need to get back to them that night. Now, if it's something that that business builder or that member can figure out for themselves, I'm going to point them in that right direction and follow up with them later. So remember, you don't always have to have the answer. And by letting them figure it out themselves, it's hard, it's exhausting at first, but it's so worth it in the end. I have a team of over 200 members, and when it was about 50 members, I was spending all day answering all these questions and things that they could look up on their own. And it was great for me because I was learning a lot because I was looking up the answers. But as my team was growing, I realized there is no way that I can keep this up. And I had heard someone, talk about that you shouldn't be the expert in everything. And it's so true. It was really hard having people do things for themselves at first because I wanted to be the one to fix it. But by letting them take on that challenge, they learned a lot. They were able to pass that on to their team, some of those who, were business builders. And the beauty of education, self-knowledge is so important with Young Living. And I know that that's part of the reason for slow growth. But it's what makes our teams so strong and so sustainable as well, because they're looking up that information. They're becoming knowledgeable themselves. So do I have some people that purchase a kit and never do anything with it because my team is so focused on self-education? Absolutely. I mean, definitely. But usually the kind of people that I draw are the people that want to learn things for themselves, and that really helps. So all of this allows me to be present with my kids. I mean, gosh, my kids are 2.5 years old, and this is probably it. They're probably going to be my only children, and I am really enjoying the time that I have with them because it goes so fast, and I don't want to lose that. And so I'm able to work this business. I'm able to have a successful business, and some months are more successful than others, but I have less time to work, and I try to get off Facebook because Facebook just draws me in. But by really pushing myself to have very strict work hours, it allows me to be present with my kids. It allows me to enjoy that time, and it allows me to do quality work instead of quantity. And then when I call it a night, I'm done working. And I will tell you, my sleep has been so much better because of this, because I have a clear line in between work and family. And so, there's, a ton of other things that I could talk about, to-do lists, being really organized there. I am definitely a type A sort of person. I think that it's harder to draw the line if you're not a type A. But if you want ideas on how I organize my life, how I do my to-do lists, how I run my schedule and calendar, feel free to ask, because I'm happy to let you know what's worked for me. Again, I know it's not a one size fits all, so I can just give you some of my ideas of what I've done and see if it would work for you. But I hope that this gives you a little bit of an insight as to that it is possible to have this business when you have a family and to be a quote-unquote stay-at-home mom, even though that is not my only job title. And I am definitely not just staying at home. I'm definitely working from home, but I'm being really smart about when I'm working, and then I can be a mom, which is one of my priorities. All right. So anyways, I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye.